Our next guest has a diverse portfolio of investments from science and innovation to the business of sports. With us now, Steve Pagliuca. He is the former chair of Bain Capital, CEO of PagsGroup, and Boston Celtics co-owner. You get more excited about these new investments than sitting on the floor of the Celtics?
I know it's close. I'd say very lucky, especially this year at the Celtics. It's fantastic. We're leading the league right now, and we're 20-0 at home. You know, it'll end at some point, but we're really living the dream right now.
I had the Bucks on a recent game, and do you remember that game? What the hell happened?
I've forgotten about that game. That was our 5th game in 7 days, so I think we didn't have a lot of legs in that thing. Our coach is brilliant. He pulled the starters I've never seen it in our 20 years. He pulled the starters at halftime because we traveled all over the country and played 5 games in 7 days. So it was really, and the Bucks played fantastic.
The Arena, this company must be exciting because this is the second time we've talked about it in Davos, and your name was dropped. I think, well, of course it was yesterday. That's what we got here. Tell us about it. Why are you so excited?
Really excited about it. It's basically. I did a bunch of work and done a bunch of biotech investing with scientists and did a bunch of work on COVID when COVID came in. And in getting to know these guys after COVID ended, we saw that drugs could actually be brought out in a lot faster way. The world's changed. The genome's been mapped for 20 years now, so we have that data. As you know, in Davos here, the big talk is AI, and now GPUs are cheaper than ever. You put all that together, it's kind of a golden age to use AI, bring scientists together. We're trying to create the Bell Labs of biotech. And so we're eliminating all the overhead they have. In universities, they estimate they spend 50% of their time because of government funding on compliance.
Yeah.
They spend another 10% on negotiating licenses, another 10% on raising grant money, and it's very rigid. You can't change the experiment once you start it. So we've tried to take the best demonstrated practices of what they do in universities, what you do in pharmaceutical companies, and put it in an entity like Bell Labs. And we just signed a lease for 50,000 square feet, a state-of-the-art lab in Cambridge, right in the heart of Biotechville. So we think it can do a lot of good for humanity and be good for investors as well.
Kendall Square. No?
Kendall Square.
Kendall Square.
That's where it's at.
Unbelievable.
As you know, Jim Breyer's in it, and Michael Dell, and Michael Chambers.
And it's about getting drugs to patients more quickly, or solutions to patients more quickly.
Absolutely. It's really taking this incredible science that can be done, basic research, a long-term approach with basic research, and then using these tools to translate it much more quicker with a sense of urgency into life-saving drugs. And Stu Schreiber, who's leading the effort, was the co-founder of the Broad. He was a legend at Harvard, and he's trained 50 or 60 of the top people out there. So we think if we put them under one roof, you know, Arena has the symbol as a roof. We put them under one roof, and they work together cooperatively. They share the economics from all the companies, so it's not just one person.
So they are incentivized to share all of their research, because that's a big problem.
Right now,
research
is very siloed in universities, because if you give someone your idea, then they get credit for it.
Yeah.
I know
these guys can work together.
I know we're going to have to go, but I have one MBA question. Valuations of these teams. Do you think we've reached a peak? There's a whole bunch of people who you know have been selling
There will
recently.
never be a peak.
No, but there's a bunch of people recently have been selling.
Not with gambling.
In large part because they think, or at least suggest, that maybe we're there because of the way the cable operators are working in terms of regional sports and the like. What do you think happens here?
Well, I go back to back to 2003 when the Boston Globe, when we announced we were buying the Celtics, it said venture capitalists pay record price for teams. That didn't help us with fundraising. Highest price ever at $360 million. Today, values are up around $5 billion.
$360 million.
So back then they were saying we've reached the peak. So I don't know if we've reached the peak. These are unique assets. Adam Silver, I think, is brilliant commissioner in sports. There are two global games, soccer/football and basketball, and today's media technology has allowed us. I consume the games over here. When I'm over here, I can see all the games. Just dial it up on the phone or on my computer. So it's reaching billions of people now, and there's a huge fan base in China, in Europe, everywhere. So I think it's going to keep going.
Does it make sense for the NBA, and now we're hearing reports of the NFL, to make to buy in a stake and have a partnership with ESPN?
Adam will determine that. He's been brilliant in terms of our media relations, and so the NBA has been great at looking at new models, looking at streaming, looking at partnerships, and if it works out, if he thinks it'll work out, I think we'll back him fully.
Wherever I go in the United States, I can't bet when I leave New Jersey, so I have to put bets on when I'm in New Jersey. So you got all that potential.
You're absolutely right about that, Joe. And in Europe, they've been way ahead of that.
Yeah.
You can kind of You can kind of bet on what time somebody shows up for the game in Europe, and it's like water for ducks back.
Begging me, Steve.
The U.S. will go in that direction.